Says we're live
It says we're live. I don't know.
on YouTube. Okay, so we're trying this out because we're going to be going live on Wednesday, right? To talk about all things race and the racists. So, co-hosting Sandra Sheffer and our Nikki Grant. This is just a test mode for us, but we want to make sure that we're able to be on live.
It's on. I see it.
I see it also. Okay, great. Awesome. Now, could you try to see if you could do a broadcast simultaneously with that and Facebook at the same time?
I don't know if I could do that with
That's okay. So we'll figure that out. We're gonna work that out. But in the meantime, in between time, our series currently is the Two Americas. And last week we spoke about the caucasity of it all. See, so Sandra has her own corner called the Caucasity Corner.
That's what we call it, the Caucasity Corner. It belongs
to the Caucasity Corner. Yeah, because the level of caucasity out here in these streets.
It seems like everything that happens in the news these days like falls under the caucasity of it all, right?
Okay.
It's like everything that happened, you'd be like, can you really believe what these people done did? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like,
it's the Americas, it's all that.
It's all that. And we're gonna like get into it. And I know on Facebook we usually have people come up and try to talk or whatever. I don't know how that works here on this StreamYard, but
they actually have to follow the page, or if they're not following the page, they just have to like watch the video and
right.
post comments in the live stream, and it'll just go all the way through. So
we, Sandra be trying to hold a sister back by be careful what I say, but child,
you know what I'm saying? You
might have caucasity be way too much for me. Okay?
You have some future political ambitions and stuff, so we gotta, pay attention.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to, but then I don't want to because people be trying to stifle the sister.
Yeah,
just like I saw.
We'll try to be free like Kwame Brown one day when we grow up.
I would love.
You want to talk about anybody you feel like it. I want to be about that life.
Listen, I'm all about trying to be about that life.
I still got to answer to some folks. You know what I mean? I got other people signing my checks.
So because you got other people signing your check. What you just. Some things you just can't say. But listen, I'm thinking we're living in a time that we should be able to say the truth, at least the truth.
Right, because he also said this is America, we have freedom of speech, so we should be able to say whatever we want to say, but we sign up on that company policy.
That's true.
And we out here, so
and I get it. I get it. So Wednesday we'll be talking about, the Caucasity Corner, especially with people who are running for office. Who make it clear that they don't want to teach. They're going to make sure that they're going to fight against critical race theory because they don't believe that we should be teaching people about racism.
And the funny thing is, like, they calling it like fighting against critical race theory. I'm like, well, okay, just tell the truth. You know what I'm saying?
So you want to fight to not tell the truth. That's what you want. You want to fight against.
Just tell the truth, man. If you tell the truth, then we might be, we will be okay with it. What
is that saying? What is that saying that if you don't learn from your past, you're doomed to repeat it?
Yeah, repeat it. And we're watching it happen right now. They continue to make the same mistakes. I mean, things that people are talking and complaining about right now is probably the same stuff they was complaining about in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s.
I encourage you all to go look up an interview that Bruce Jenner made. What is he going by these days?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner. Okay, so he's no longer Bruce Jenner. He's Caitlyn Jenner. He made an interview recently, and in the interview he was asked about critical race theory, to which he responded, because he is running for governor in
the state of California.
Is it the state of California? Okay.
State of California.
He's running for governor in the state of California. And the question that was given to him by a Black reporter about what is your feelings about critical race theory? His response was, this generation is the least racist generation that we had in the whole that we've had ever, according to him.
Maybe because all of his daughters are in biracial relationships. That might be the reason.
Well, his words were least racist. Least doesn't mean not racist.
Just not as racist as
If,
before,
if
but still racist.
I understand English correctly, least does not mean not racist. So his
not as
claim is that this is the least racist generation, and he will fight tooth and nail to not allow critical race theory in schools in California, because he doesn't feel the need. We're sending the kids back by teaching them about racism.
That's what you want to call it.
I just want to let it sit there, let it hover, because I want people to understand, like repeat that in their mind and see if that makes sense.
But that's and the people who want to believe that, who don't want to deal with the truth, it might make sense to them.
I just, I think that white people are comfortable in the lies because that's all they know is how to. They have perfected dishonesty.
Yeah, the truth hurts.
I don't think the truth hurts. I just think that they are so delusioned into the lie that they just can't get over it at all. So whatever. But anyway, it still goes back to our two Americas, because listen, Black people can't come out and say, for instance, we don't want the history of the Confederacy. I'm sorry. We don't want indoctrination of patriotism in schools, right? Let a Black person come out and say, you know what, this patriotism foolishness or whatever, you're trying to indoctrinate our kids or whatever, and we don't want that. We're not feeling it. We don't want to have this conversation. We're going to go ahead and protest about that or whatever. And then the great majority will look at us like, what y'all talking about? What?
I just kind of didn't want them to tell my kids about Santa.
Listen,
or the Easter Bunny.
I can learn about my kids.
I didn't talk about it in my house. My children came home and told me about it. I'm like, the who? The what? I think that's some indoctrination. Telling me they got to get costumes for Halloween.
Fairy, the doggone, thing. I told my kids, listen, you as a parent, and everybody can do what they want.
And we got to give other people credit for the things we doing.
Right. You as a parent can do whatever you want. But I don't feel like I'm going to give a fat white man, all the credit after I done bust my behind all year to save up money to get my kids Christmas gift, wrap them up, wait 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, just so they can come out and say, oh my goodness, look what Santa bought me.
Yeah. Oh. That be all over the world.
Nah, that's okay.
Take your credit.
Okay. Well, ergo, the two Americas, like you
that's indoctrination. Like you guys believing the stuff that they parents and that's happening in the school.
White man going around the world giving everybody gifts. But however, how do we explain to the kids that live?
And this one that they don't even get to see when he drop it off too.
But what about in the impoverished area that gets nothing? How come he left them out? How do we teach the kid? How do we teach? But you don't want to teach kids about that part. That there's kids that don't get anything.
Not a none.
In the impoverished area. And then, because why? Children are very, curious by nature, right? So they're going to say, well, why not? Well, because, they're in a neighborhood and they're impoverished. But what does poor have to do with anything? That thought he gets
being all nice. He should be the ones who probably really need it. The ones that really need that deal.
Well, in the area they live in, it's hard for him to get there. There's no chimneys there. Well, why can't they have the same thing as we have? Then it will force you then to teach them about the real truth.
You know what I mean? And that whole thing about having to come through a chimney, that's already separating a whole bunch of folks, right? Because if you grew up in an apartment, ain't no chimneys there. Like, how you explain that? So he was already, being all kind of like a separatist. He wanted to give gifts to.
That's my
point. You don't get no.
They don't want their innocent white kids to be faced with the truth that their ancestors basically took a group of people from other races to become enslaved people, not indigent servants. Let's make this very clear so you all understand. Okay. And so now all of a sudden,
service, they got paid a little bit. Did they? Oh, they had. Oh, they were like they were. Yeah, they were contracted for a number of years and stuff like that. There was some compensation. Yeah.
But if we go along with their history, I believe it was he's no longer on one of the what's his name again? Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, he got caught up in the Me Too.
Prior to his Me Too debacle, he had made mention about how the slaves were well taken care of and compensated.
That was the only time all the Black people in America were employed.
I'd like to know how you can put slave and compensation in the same sentence.
Everybody was working.
Again, I'd like for you to explain to me how you can put slave and compensation in the same sentence. I just make it make sense. That's all.
They ate. They had clothes.
Again, I'd like to know how you put slave and compensation in the same sentence. How can someone be a slave and be compensated?
They had to earn their keep.
So they got compensated with what? Food and housing and air.
Food.
All right. Okay. I mean,
that stuff.
I guess if the white people want to take that, you all can take that. So listen.
Some Black people might be taking that too.
Who?
Some Black people might take that too.
And that would be our sisters and brothers who are so far gone that
we can redeem them.
No, I can't say that they're not redeemable though.
Okay.
I can't say that. I really believe that some of our brothers and sisters have been indoctrinated, indoctrinated to assimilate in this system that is systematically problematic, right? So we'll be talking about that. I think that it's important that we have this conversation. I think it's important that people watch that, pay attention to it. Don't get distracted by the foolery. 22 states, 15 states so far have passed 22 bills to suppress voter registration.
Well, Merrick Garland is suing Georgia over their voter bill.
That's right. That just came out. Yes.
Let's see how that goes.
We'll see how that go, and the filibuster, it got to go, like all these things work for the detriment of the marginalized group. And until people start really kind of like making that a thing, normalizing the fact that marginalized groups always get the bad end of the stick and are continuously being oppressed, I think that we can try to get to a point where we'll continue to persevere. But if you're not planning on having these conversations, if white people are not planning to have these difficult conversations, then we're not going to get anywhere. Throwing Juneteenth as a federal holiday means nothing. Okay. That we've been celebrating that before they even made it a thing. So
some people got paid. Some people getting paid.
Well, that's great and all, but that's not something that we're still looking at your anti-lynching bills that you still ain't passed. We're looking at that George Floyd bill that you still ain't passed. We're looking at the People's Act that you still ain't passed, the John Lewis Act for voter registration. Make sure everything is fair. If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be working so hard to get rid of it and making it difficult to you. So we may sound like broken records by saying your vote matters, but the reality of it is it does. That 2020 election should have been extremely important for you all to, not even extremely important. It should have been something where you look at it and you say, dang, we really make a difference when we come out. Black women, as always, we're Captain Save-A-Ho, coming out here and saving everybody, always coming for the rescue. And I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is saving people who willfully don't be part of the process, not participating. It's important that we participate in our political process, because as long as you don't, they'll keep doing the foolishness that they're doing in these several Republican states. So we'll be going in and talking about our, Two Americas. We come on every Wednesday at 5:30. And we try to make it a 30-minute show. Sometimes it goes over because we tend to be a little bit passionate about what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So, we'll try to keep it at 30 minutes because I know everybody got stuff to do. So, This was just a little taste and teaser because we're trying to play around with the YouTube thing and see what we can garner from there. And it's all it is. It's a conversation. It's us making you aware of things if you didn't know. We're trying to make you aware in a place, in a sense that you can understand. Some people will see things from politicians in the news and they say all these big words and they throw all these different contexts and it's like completely confusing. And they do that on purpose. But we're gonna just come and be direct. We're gonna look at it, review it ourselves, come back and regurgitate the information just like how it's supposed to be said, right? So you can understand what's going on.
Put our own little spin on it.
Yeah, put our little spin on it. We got our Caucasian going up.
Give you some things to think about. Oh, that's the other side of the hair that's not cooperating. Okay.
Oh, it's okay, girl, because
I should have brushed my hair. I look like a wild woman, but it's okay.
No, it's all right because everybody has those days. You know what I mean? So we're gonna come in here. We'll have people on every so often. We'll try to bring in some elected officials. We'll try to bring in activists. We'll try to bring in depending on what the news is talking about. We're going to talk about, Chauvin's 22 years that he got.
Not enough.
That whole mama part was just like, why? Just write you should have just kept your letters like everybody else gets sent a letter. Don't come up here and say nothing. But I digress. We'll talk about we are from the state of Florida, so we'll talk about our horrendous governor that we have that's out here just putting his Floridians out here to dry. We'll talk about him. We'll talk about Val Demings, who's running against Rubio in Florida, which is like an important race. Okay. DeSantis does have a challenger, Nikki Fried.
She's the present Secretary of Agriculture in the state of Florida.
She's currently the Secretary of Agriculture in the state of Florida. We did hear in the grapevine that Charlie Crist is running too. But if you see
everything though,
I'm not impressed.
He runs for everything.
Well, and that's a problem. So I don't even want to We have a congressional seat 20 race that's going on in Florida right now, and that race is
a special election because the great Alcee Hasten passed away.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace. And so we have a slew of elected officials and people who are from the community trying to get a bite at that apple. That's big shoes to fill. However, we are confident that those who are running are prepared. And we can also have that conversation if we don't think that they're prepared. But, and then it's our opinion and it's our business. And, we can say what we want. We'll talk about things. There was one story that we didn't get a chance to touch upon, and I would love for us to touch upon that, is about the young man in Tampa who punched an old man who was using racial slurs. And unfortunately, the older man subsequently died from his injuries. But it's important for us to see the difference, because I will also have another case that's similar to this case, and the roles were reversed. And yet still the white person didn't serve any jail time. So, just to show you that this two Americas that we're talking about fully exist, and if it's fully operational, okay, and it's systemic. I hate that word because every time I try to pronounce it, it don't come out right, but it's systemic. Mm-hmm. And white people will have you think that slavery was so long ago and that we need to move on. And make you think that this is not something that's, I'm going to use their words, indoctrinated in their system. And so we'll talk about that. And it's important that we do that. It's important that we call people out. There's a lot of people that are out there doing the same thing, that are calling people out. And we have to continue to keep the pressure. They're coming after our athletes. They're coming after our elected officials. They're coming after anybody who shows a level of semblance of them in terms of where they at and what level they are in this society. And anytime every time we get to that level and we're equal with them, it's a problem. So we don't, Sandra and I don't idly stand by and allow that to go on. We are very vocal about it. And it's important that Black women continue to be vocal, because there's a lot of us out here who are out here in the trenches calling out foolery for what it is. And it's important that people see us as a voice of truth, because the great majority not telling you the truth. Though that majority group won't tell you the truth, right? The minute that you know the truth is the minute that their whole system crumbles. So if it takes a bunch of us, a little bit of planted here and there complaining,
even if it doesn't come, it puts some cracks in that foundation.
And that's the point. Yeah. And the cracks, as you can see, cracks in foundations can bring down a whole building. No pun intended.
Unfortunately. And people get hurt, lose their lives when that happens.
Absolutely.
They want to pay attention.
I think I can speak for Sandra when we say we're tired of seeing our Black men and Black women in the jails who make up majority of the people, when we only make up 12%, 14% of the population. There's no reason for us to be, we make up more people who are incarcerated than the majority. There's no reason. There's no reason for Black women in the healthcare system completely be ignored when they talk about things that bother them. There's no reason that we have a high infant mortality rate when we have our babies. There's no reason for that. You can't have, not only do we have infant mortality rate, but we also have mothers who die in childbirth because they're ignored. They assume that Black women don't feel like white women feel. There is even a chart, I believe, that doctors, and I have to find that clip. There's a clip where a doctor shows they have certain charts for Black women. And if they don't meet a certain threshold, that means that they don't feel anything and there's nothing wrong with them. And Black women have died in childbirth because of this so-called chart.
Yeah, remember the story, I believe you're the one that sent it to me, about the NFL, right? About those people who were having like the CTE, they were having brain injuries and that type of thing, and they could not recover compensation because they had the baseline for Black women different from that of white. So like a white person with the same symptom would recover and get a settlement, but the Black athletes wouldn't. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of disparity in what's happening.
And then
look at the races, I mean.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the disparity still comes down to the two Americas. And unfortunately, because we are the minority, our grievances.
So I hear those, but I don't like to own those words, because in terms of like the population of the world, people of color are not the minority at all.
Oh, well, we're talking about
the United States, and they say that to us in the United States to make us seem that we're a small group.
Well,
I don't think you should look at it
based on the data in this country, we are the minority.
Well,
based on numbers, right?
I still don't like.
I totally understand where you're coming from, but if we're gonna go data driven, if we're gonna go by the numbers, and the facts.
Well, those you can make numbers say kind of what you want them to say too, right? So yeah, they got all kind of numbers that say some stuff about us that is
true. You can make numbers say what you want to say them. You're right. You're absolutely right. That is true. Absolutely.
I mean, you can take it if you're good with it, fine. But for me, I just don't like that choice of words, because
I only use it in the context,
small view of who it is that we are.
Right. Well, and I only use it in the context when we are dealing with the white people in this country in terms of wealth, employment, the disparities that we have between us in terms of home ownership. There's a lot of factors that. So instead of us saying that, maybe we can say we're put at a disadvantage, rather than let's talk about numbers. Because at the end of the day, it's just, and unfortunately, our group is so fragmented. Our race in this country is so fragmented. And we're still trying to get to that place where we're all unified. Not that we become ignorant to different parts of us, because we're not a monolith. I get that. But there should be a level of unity that we have where we be in a position that we're more progressive. And that's what I would like to see. And that's why we do what we do. because the more we get on the same page, the better we are. What was that thing when the fingers get together, you make a mighty fist, you can make a bigger difference. I can't remember the saying. There was something in between that I gotta remember. But we gotta kind of get together and get on the same page, right? Because both political parties are taking advantage of us. Ain't no one better than the other. For us.
There are times when one is better than the other, but the idea that they're both taking advantage of people of color, particularly Black folks, that's very true.
Very true. And so, we have to make sure that they understand that if you need us, there's certain things that has to happen in order for us to participate. We're not giving out. No more of giving us our given time and seeing people where they at or hoping that they will figure it out. If we do this and then we hope that someday no more of that. We are too valuable to them. And the faster we understand that how valuable we are, the better. And so, we're going to be coming on here every week, Wednesday, 5:30. We're going to try to make it really short, 30 minutes. If it goes over, it just goes over. We'll bring guests. And we'll chop it up, and then we'll see if if you guys are interested in coming on and having conversations with us. We're all about it too. So
yep, we're here for all of that.
We're here for all of that, and we will be talking about the doggone caucasity, because the level of caucasity coming out these days is just too much for me to handle. I'm just
all kind of messages coming in.
Yeah, I mean, somebody just sent us a message.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's like, bang.
People attacked white supremacy like they are attacking critical race theory. There would be no need for critical race theory. I think there still would be need for critical race theory because, as you said, Sandra, you said critical race theory is only taught in law school.
Yeah, it's typically taught in law school.
Yeah, because Sandra's a lawyer, so she know.
Yeah, that's what they tell me.
All I have is a master's degree in conflict resolution. That ain't much.
More people need to learn how to resolve conflicts. It might address some of these other files we got in this place, right? Folks around here can't solve nothing. All they know how to do is pull out their weapons and stuff. So
I'm telling you,
conflict resolution. Sure.
Listen, I mean, the problem is that maybe we shouldn't call it critical race theory. Maybe we should call it debunking white supremacy. Maybe that. Maybe that might be able.
Conservatives feel like they're under attack right now, so I don't know if they're gonna even like that. I hear that all the time. Like conservatives can't even have freedom of speech anymore. Like anytime they say something, I'm like, really?
Wow, listen. I have some conservative views. Some of my views are conservative.
My parents are from the islands. Okay? My parents are from the house with a whole bunch of conservatives. Okay?
Don't play no games.
Let me tell you. Some of the stuff my parents think, I'm like, oh my God, you can't say that, lady. You cannot say that kind of stuff, lady.
You can't call a Haitian grown-up a liar and I down. I'm just saying. So I have conservative views. You say what you want. What you can't do is minimize someone else's experience. This is what you can't do. And that's what they tend to do. They tend to minimize other people's experience in the name of conservatism, but that's not what that is. So if you got to walk on eggshells a little bit, then so be it. But you can't be minimizing people's stuff. You can't be minimizing people's experience. Period. And that's one thing that white people have a problem with is the Black experience. You've never experienced it. You will never experience it. So you can't minimize it. White people's experience, we kind of feel it, deal with it, assimilate to it because we have no choice, right? Y'all have a choice to kind of know our experiences. You choose not to. So if you choose not to, you can't be sitting there dismissing my stuff. Get your feelings hurt. You don't want all this smoke at all. At all. All right. So tune in tomorrow, 5:30.
It's already tomorrow. That's right.
Yes. Tune in.
It's tomorrow. So I think our test run was okay. So we're ready to get with it. Hopefully we'll have our logo. So they're working on a couple things for us. We should have our logo up probably like in the next couple of weeks.
And our show.
Yeah. Well,
You have like a commercial thing working on that too.
Yeah. He has to do the logo, then add it to the commercial. So
okay, cool.
We'll get the commercial once the logo's finalized.
And we'll get it on there. So listen, there's times I'll be on here with a drink. Don't judge me. It's my business. Okay.
I'll have like sparkling water.
She'll have some water.
I have sparkling water.
I may have a cold cup. I may have a glass. Mind your business.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just doing me. All right. I'm just doing me. I'm human, and I need to sometimes, and depend on what's going on in the week.
It be that kind of week.
Well, people on the week, child, you better be. It's not bourbon. Sometimes it just be rough for us. It just be rough. We don't. We'll try to finish our show with something light and have some lividity to it.
And I also make book recommendations.
Yes. Oh, her books are so good. You gotta get on it. Reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental. And it's always something to uplift our Black people, always something to open our eyes as to things. And then sometimes we'll throw in something a little bit less, what's that word I'm looking for? I don't know. This is our life, though. It's our life. It is what it is. We have to be on. We have to be on this 24/7. It is why this is our life. So that's what we have to do. So it is what it is. But anyway, we've reached our 30-minute mark. I think we did good for the first time.
Yeah.
And so listen, come check us out Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about.
Wednesday 5:30.
5:30.
My YouTube channel. And then I'll figure out how to do it on Facebook too, but we'll see.
Figure it out, child. She'll figure it out. She'll figure it out.
I try.
We'll try to do that on or whatever. Listen, share, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Get our subscriptions going or whatever. Listen, I'm not really versed in that. I probably get better as we get on and what little plugs that you got to do. But as of today, I don't know. But I'm just saying, listen, subscribe, share, whatever it is that y'all do. You got questions, send us an email. I don't know if we got our email set up properly, but if you do, and if you have a topic,
no, just the DWC email. But I could set up a Race and Races email.
So we're gonna set up a Race and Races email.
Yeah.
And if there's a subject you guys want to talk to, you want to touch on it or whatever, we will talk about it. But be prepared in case we ask you to come on. Be prepared to come on, because sometimes we'll bring people on here because you may say something in writing and we're like, huh? So you may have to
explain yourself.
And we are always open to people who are not of the same mindset of us,
Yeah.
We are okay having that conversation. If you somebody who love Trump, we can talk to you too.
Yes, we can.
We don't have no problem doing that. There won't be no animosity. It won't be no toe-to-toe. It's just a real conversation. We can have that conversation.
I mean, it might be a little toe-to-toe because you know what I mean? You're going to tell me what you think, and I'm going to tell you how I feel about that too.
Yeah. But it will be
we always can agree to disagree at the
Absolutely. And it will always be respectful. Always. Yeah. And we just ask the same.
Always with respect.
We will always respect people's opinions as we would love for you to respect our opinions, and we're all about that. We have no problem with conflict and talking through conflict. We just don't. It is what it is. We've had people on the show before because we used to do a show on Facebook, and we're still going to do that. But we have people we didn't agree with that come on the show. It's okay.
We sure did.
It's okay. We have no problem with that. We would love to have a conversation with you. So don't be afraid. We don't bite over here.
Okay. Let me see what the share button does. Hold on. Let me see that. But I don't think it's going to let me do it. If I share, that's a share screen. All right.
You may have to give me that every so often because I always have videos to show.
All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We gonna have to practice that because you're gonna need to. But I think you should be able to share your screen. You don't have that. You don't have those buttons to look at.
Let me see. Share screen. Oh, it says I can. Let me see.
Okay. All right. So then that's how you show your videos. Let's see. You should have the ability to do that.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so it shows. Is it showing right now?
I didn't see no, I don't see anything. I don't see a share screen.
No, I see, but I see I have an option. Wait, it doesn't give me the option to do it.
It doesn't?
It says share. It says entire screen wants to share your screen, but it doesn't give me the option to say share. Screen sharing was canceled. Oh, wait a minute. It might do. Let me see. Share. All right, so it pops up. Uh-oh. I think I see it. Now I see it. Yep, it can. Yep. It can share.
It can. So I just have to. I had to change the setting, right?
Yeah, you just have to change your settings. So I did. I just have to touch the middle of the screen, and I did that. So
Okay, I'm gonna let you share.
it will. It will.
Okay. All right.
So we're good. Listen,
Good.
tomorrow is our actual 5:30
Debut on YouTube.
on YouTube. Okay, so we'll be back here tomorrow at 5:30. Tell your friends, subscribe on the bottom. Hopefully, we can have something.
Like our page, like the videos.
Yep, like the videos, share the videos. I think there's a way for us to put stuff on the bottom when we're sharing that it tells you to share the share.
Yeah, we got all of these things right here where you can put like banners. And
Yes. So that the
stuff and all these different kind of
we have a wonderful behind the scenes IT who is related to our co-hosts. Oh, look at you. Okay, I like pink, girl. Let's do pink next tomorrow. Let's do pink. I like pink.
It's purple, pink, well, pink or something. Yeah, like something like
that. You know, purple is royalty. So you put that down too, because you know we come from a land of royalty.
I'm messing around with it.
All right, that looks good. All right, then, sis. I'm loving it. I like it. I like the purple. Okay. The purple, not the black.
Add our logo.
Yep, and then we can do that at the bottom.
What's the overlay?
Oh,
we can start doing that too. I like some background stuff happening.
Hey.
Okay.
I like this better than Facebook.
Yeah. All right. So see what we can do.
All right. Well, you gotta play around with that, sis. We gotta play around.
All right. Yeah. So we're gonna do this.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead live tomorrow.
I'm going to upgrade the account so we don't have that live from StreamYard showing across. I will upgrade the account tomorrow.
We'll be all racing the races.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Very nice. And we got to figure out how we can do two broadcasts at the same time.
Yeah, so once you upgrade the account, they allow you to live stream. So we'll do Facebook and YouTube.
I'm excited. All right.
So we'll hop on a little early so we can test it, make sure it's working.
Right. We'll hop on a little early. You let me know when, and then we'll get on it. So listen, see you all not next week. See you all tomorrow at 5:30. Hit the subscribe button at the bottom.
Yep.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe. But that's what they're saying. Like, share, subscribe.
You know, we listen. We just new into this, all right. We're not the millennials, okay? What were we? Gen what?
I don't know. I'm old, so I don't know. I'm old.
We're Gen.
I don't know if I'm a Gen nothing. I'm old.
I'll figure it out. I'll find out. Okay. You gotta ask the children. The children, they the one that know.
I'm like,
I don't know. Anyway, so we're off. We'll see you all tomorrow right here, 5:30. And then we'll get right into it. And we'll chat it up. All right. Out. Peace, not in the Middle East. Peace in here, because we ain't got no peace over here, child.
That's right.
Y'all later.
Okay.